Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry. That's the Stoner, and that's Trev. And we've got a training camp episode for you today. Yeah, both myself and Stoner were able to go on Monday. Trev is scheduled to go next week. Yeah! And Rio from Rambling Rio should be joining us later. We have him scheduled. We'll see if he doesn't have any conflicts and joins us. Looking forward to that conversation as he was able to go yesterday. Got to see Annie Agar. Got to see the guys up close. Lots of good stuff in there. Already got some people in the chat. EP and Yam in Japan. Ohayo gozaimasu to Yam in Japan there.
Very nice.
So the show is all about the training camp today. So we're gonna cool down. We'll talk about some other things. Soto, whether or not DC is a good sports town. That's all coming up in the cool down. The game will feature Rio training camp news, all the good stuff there. And for the warm up, some training camp, mine and Stoner's experience, plus what Trev is looking forward to for his camp experience, especially as they just seem to keep adding things to it. Of course, while you're here, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel. We are sponsored by Pacers Running for every run and Sky Bar. Get your drinks at Sky Bar in Lexington, Virginia. See our man Trev slinging the drinks. He is the owner of said establishment, and so be sure to say hi to him there in Lexington. Moving on, Trev, sticking with you, my friend.
Yeah, dog.
They opened up training camp.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we want more people to come. And we actually talked about Julie. Shout out to Julie, and check out that video from yesterday. Julie talked about that. They wanted to kind of, make sure that they're doing this in the best way, the safest way possible. Well, it seems like they're realizing they can bring more people in. Trev, you're one of those people. Are you looking forward to it?
You have no idea. I'm so excited. I was just chilling on Twitter after work today, and I saw it said RSVP to Commander Camp, and I clicked on it from the team's Twitter, and I was like, that's weird. So I did it, and it was like, yeah, just sign up. You can go. And I was like, bet. So I signed up for 2 days, next Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe both, maybe one, maybe the other. Who knows? I'm definitely going. And I cannot wait, especially because it seems like it's a bigger attraction this year. You got Andy, like you said, Andy Agar's there. Ryan Kerrigan retired. He's staying over for a couple more weeks.
Andy was involved with Ron Rivera last year, but not with the training camp. So the fact that she was at training camp was pretty exciting for, I know, a lot of our guys.
I was kind of jealous about that. That was cool to see, though. Washington Spirit was there today, so that's cool. So it seems like they're kind of like making it a bigger attraction than what it already is. So shout out to them.
Figuring it out is what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got lots more people in the chat. Doug is in the chat. Shady Katie, man, my bad. Ed Hernandez, we got to get that Cowboy stuff out of there. P-Dub in the house. Cam Mingo here. Ben Willard as well.
What's up, Ben?
Ben is going to be there on Tuesday and Wednesday. Trev, which days did you say you're going again?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Nice. There you go. You got to meet up with our friend Ben.
Word. I will be there.
Kenneth also in the chat. We're talking training camp. If you're in the chat right now, did you schedule any of the dates as they opened up training camp? I think this is great. I think it goes in line, like I said, with what Julie was talking about. They want people to be there. They want the people to be excited about it. They had pizza. Was that today? Or the tailgate tent tweeted that out that they were having pizza. Yesterday. They moved the games closer to the action closer to the fans. They had Annie Agar there. Stoner, how jealous are you that they just seem to keep improving it the days after we've already been there?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's good that they're doing that. You always want it to be better than it was before or after you were there, right? So it's growing, like Trev said, like you both said, it's growing. They're doing more. They're making it more fan-friendly, all of this stuff. So I think that's all good. They figured it out. They hadn't done camp there in quite a while. So I just don't think they had the logistics figured out. especially with just obviously the amount of people that were going to be there. Because when we went there, it was pretty well attended, I think, but not as much as it could fit. There was plenty of space for
and certainly less than Richmond was, and
much less.
And that was one of the things that we noticed on Monday when we went was there wasn't really any kind of attraction to it. It was just straight for the practice. There was the merchandise stop. There is the tent where you can go in and cool down, get some chips, get some drinks. Really, that was it. There was nothing else. They had one canopy for people to kind of put their chairs under to stay out of the sun, but no bleachers, nothing like that. And that was one of the things that we were kind of surprised about because we figured there would be some kind of make it a festival, right? Make it a celebration.
That's right.
And there wasn't, but it seems like they're listening more and more and they're trying to pull some of that stuff in. That's why we had pizza today. Trev, by the time you and Ben are there on Tuesday and Wednesday,
we're gonna be
might have a full Ferris wheel, man. You can watch 11-on-11 drills, from the top of a Ferris.
Yeah,
Ferris
I'm
wheel,
down. Count me in.
I'm putting together a little vlog, if you will, of the day when Nathan and I went there, the trip and everything.
Yeah.
From the time I left my house until the time I got there, and I took mostly public transportation. It was 3 hours. That's how long it takes to get from here to there for me. It was 3 hours. So I left it right about a little bit after 5 and got there a little bit after 8. I mean, so that makes for a long day when you get there and you stand out in the sun and everything. But it's worth it. I'm one of those guys who's going there, and everybody's different. I'm going there just to watch practice.
Yeah.
Just to look at what they're doing out there, who looks healthy, all that other stuff. A lot of people are going there just for the autographs and everything, and that's fine. That's kind of what it's all about, right? But I'm not a big autograph guy. I got a selfie with Antonio Gibson. I think he was the only one. He happened to be walking by when we were off talking.
Yeah, he had a press interview, and that's where where Stoner really wanted to hang out, is in the press tent. He wanted to hang out with Julie. He did get one signature though.
I did.
A very important one. This one that just happens to be right behind my head here. My man got into the scrum and got Terry McLaurin's signature for me on my McLaurin jersey.
And got really lucky that, because Terry had all these other responsibilities because there was a bunch of kids there, and he broke away, whatever the word is, from all the fans that he was signing, went and hung out with the kids for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
It was a long time. Yeah.
Right. And doing pictures and all that over with them. And then he happened to come over basically in front of us, and I wasn't even up on the rope. Right. And then there was this other guy who we happened to be hanging out with earlier. He got his autograph and he says, "Hey, I'm leaving the rope if anybody wants my spot here." And I was like, "Well, I'll take it." Took Nathan's jersey there, and Terry just happened to basically be right next to me, and he signed it, no problem. And so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, very thankful for you for doing that, and I think that fans really appreciate that. There was a lot of people who were signing. And
most of them did.
Yeah, most of them were coming by, at least saying hi. There's a few that didn't. I kind of disappointed EP because Jarrett Patterson walked right on by. He was gonna get to the gym because that's actually Chase. Chase was signing and doing some fan interaction.
Not much. He didn't do much.
He was doing. I thought he was doing quite a bit, but then he did have to leave, and he was like, "Sorry, I got to go to pump iron, get himself ready." But I think that's where most of the guys were headed, and so no Jarrett frickin' Patterson for EP, which is a shame because I had a fancy mug for her, a Ref of the District mug that I had just gotten that day, personalized for her. That would have been perfect.
Yeah,
but it wasn't meant to be. Maybe he'll stick around. Maybe he'll stick around next year, and we can get a signature next year.
Probably not, but that's another story here and there.
So Trev, when we were there, and like Nathan said, there was 2 fields side by side, basically, right?
Yeah.
So on the field that was closest to the fans was where they kind of did their warm ups and their drills, and for us, it was only the offense, and it was only the skill players. Which, hey, if I had a choice, that's who you want to see, right? So we had tight ends. We had receivers, we had running backs, and we had quarterbacks on our side, which was great. So we could watch them doing their drills and all that. And there's a couple of things that I want to kind of point out that were really interesting to me because we had the tight ends basically right in front of us. Tight ends running backs right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the tight ends, Samus Reyes was off to the side, and he was doing blocking drills with the Alex Amra, I think is his name.
Yeah,
He's like a
Yeah.
fullback / tight
Yeah.
end, fifth stringer type of guy, whatever. They were doing blocking drills. What's his name was off to the side field, not doing anything. What's John Bates? He was on the Ashburn cycling team that day, right?
Okay.
So, and then of course Logan's not doing any sort of practicing, right? So we had Armani Rogers, we had Cole Turner, and we had what's the other guy's name?
Hodges.
Curtis
Hodges.
So we had those three guys right in front of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I was telling Nathan, and what I tell a lot of people. If I watch, let's just say Curtis Hodges do these drills, right? And I don't know who he is. I don't know his number. I don't know what team he plays for. And I watch him and I look at him and I go, my God, that dude is a sick athlete. He's an unbelievable tight end. He's going to be an all-pro. He's going to be the greatest tight end ever. You know what I mean? When you see him doing individually, and if you don't know who he is, right? But then you see him next to Cole Turner, who's an absolute monster. You guys told me that in OTAs. He's a monster.
He's a big dude.
But that other dude, Armani Rogers.
Rogers,
right?
yeah.
Armani Rogers, yeah.
Yes.
He's a monster.
He's 6'7", right?
Let's not pretend like he's struggling to.
He looks a little smaller to me than the others. So I mean, like,
well, which one was Armani Rogers? 88 or 40?
Yeah.
Okay, I got him backwards.
Curtis Hodges is a big dude,
right?
Yeah.
So they're doing is like 5-yard outs or whatever, right? They're not, nobody's throwing them to them. They're just kind of working on their footing and everything. And I watch Rogers do it, right? Okay. I mean, looks perfect, right? And then I watch Hodges do it. All right, perfect. Then I watch Cole Turner do it, and I don't know what it is. I'm not a scout. I'm not a coach. He does it different, and he does it better. And it might just be a half a second that he gains by how he runs his routes. I'm all in on Cole Turner.
Yeah.
I'm all in on Cole Turner because I couldn't believe what a difference it was between these three guys.
So much sharper, and you're right. Less steps,
so fluid that he was doing at 6'6" or whatever
he's made for that spot, for that position, huh?
I'm a believer. And then during the practices, which we couldn't see really well because they're over on the next field when they're doing.
We were very unfortunate in that regard. They've been playing those closer to the fans these last couple of days, but our day it had just rained like over the weekend. They're trying to protect like the field so they don't have to resod them as often. So they moved all that action on the far side. So Trev, we were there for OTAs on that far side of the field. That's where they were. So we didn't. They did move the players around so that way fans could kind of see it. You really need binoculars to be able to actually pick out some of the action, but you kind of got the
during
gist
those
of things going on
during those 11 on 11s, and especially in the red zone,
9-on-9s,
they were going to Cole Turner in the end zone, and he was making.
They were saying
catches.
They said Carson Wentz and Cole Turner are
anything.
starting to be like this now.
Yeah, I know. And to think right now, he's basically your third tight end if everybody's healthy, right? If Logan Thomas and John Bates are healthy, he's your third guy. So that bodes well for this receipt. And you know how Wentz loves his tight ends.
He does.
Right?
And Julie talked about that. I'm going to answer Doug's question, then we'll get to Ben's here in a little bit. How accessible is it for those with disabilities? I would not say that it's very accessible. So it's an all grass field.
Okay.
It's all grass. There's, obviously some, ramps to get over the cords and stuff like that. But I mean, there's like the dip to get to the tent. They do have handicap accessible porta johns. I don't remember seeing a ramp to get down. There are legitimate steps to get down, but was there a ramp as far as getting down to the ticket area?
No, good question.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So I would not say it's very accessible with disabilities. I'm sure that they will make accommodations as needed for the fans. But if you're talking as far as needing a wheelchair, I would say it's not very accessible to that. If you were able to move around a little bit, so like I have some mobility issues myself, I was able to move around. Getting up and down those steps was a bit of a chore, but some movement there. So just wanted to answer that question. Hello, Rockman 1033. Thanks for joining us here. Ben's question is, who would you say would be a better tight end number 2, Cole or John?
Well, if you're asking me, I'm not a big John Bates guy. I thought he was fine last year. He was surprising in what he was able to do once he caught the ball, because as a tight end, I mean, there's not a whole lot going on in most offenses with a tight end. And so he surprised me a little bit, but Cole Turner's a different beast. Cole Turner is what you want from a tight end. He's got speed, he's got the hands, he's got the height, he's got the route running, all of that stuff. So I think Cole Turner is going to be your number 2 wideout as far as a tight end, your pass catcher. But overall, I still think it's going to be John Bates, because John Bates is obviously a better blocker. That's what he's known for. That's what he's good at. Whereas Cole Turner is going to really have to learn that job, or else every time they come in, everyone's going to say, well, it's going to be a pass, because Cole Turner can't block, so they're not going to have him blocking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so John Bates is known as a blocking tight end, not really a pass catcher. Yes, Ben, as you're pointing out here in your comment. However, John Bates did kind of surprise as a capable pass catcher.
Yeah.
So that's something to be okay. I'm going to be blasphemous. We all know that I'm not the hugest Logan Thomas fan. All right. So let's get that out of the way here. I will say this: with Cole Turner, the way he looked and the way he's looking in camp, plus how well John Bates performed last year, let's just say I'm not worried if Logan Thomas is not 100%. Okay. I feel that good about those two being able to perform. And if, Cole Turner's a 5th round rookie, so we shouldn't expect too much from him, especially as a 3rd tight end. But I would expect numbers at least like Ricky Seals-Jones from last year, if not better. Ricky Seals-Jones was targeted 49 times, caught 30 of those for 271 yards. It's 9 yards a catch, got 2 touchdowns. I think Cole Turner is going to surpass that. Okay. I'm not saying greatly, but if he finishes the year with 450 yards off of like 45 catches and like
easy
5 touchdowns.
Easy.
What did you just say?
Your 3rd tight end's going to have 45 catches,
okay, well,
some yards and 5 touchdowns.
I'm saying 30 catches to 45. All right. So what are we thinking? 35 catches for 450 yards?
That sounds
and 5 touchdowns.
I'd probably go under all that. I'm not trying to be a hater.
That's fair.
But, I'd probably give him 25 to 30 catches.
Okay.
And like 3, maybe 4 touchdowns. That's probably what I would expect from your number 3 tight end. Because it's not like he's going to be in there all the time, right? Even with Logan out, he's not going to be in there every down. So it's hard to put up a lot of numbers when you're not playing so much. But
it depends. They do like the move tight end, and if he's a better pass catcher than John Bates, you probably see him a little bit more out there.
Sure.
Yam in Japan, to be honest, I'm a bit worried about how our tight ends can block versus catch and run routes. Our O-line has been looking a bit soft so far. In the bits that Yam has seen and able to keep up with. The offensive line, I do think, is a sign of worry. Okay, there should be some worry there.
Well,
right? But they're still in the early stages. You got two. You just replaced 40% of that line. They're going to need to communicate. You don't even have Chase Roulier, who's a very capable center. So there's some things there.
Well, and I think the reports are basically since they put pads on the last 2 days, the offensive line has come back strong the last couple of days, being able to
actually use
all of
and
that.
leverage.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as your name is not Sadiq Charles, then all the reports have been good.
Fair enough on that.
Before we go to Rio, Trev, what are you looking forward to when you go to camp? What's your number one thing?
I want to see somebody hit somebody. We got the pads on.
Look out now.
I need a little fireworks. I need somebody. I just want to see. I don't know. I want to see command of each position. I would like Carson Wentz. I want to see him take command of the quarterback position. I want to see any receivers take command of their position or spot on their position depth chart. I want to see the secondary and the defense communicate, fly around, make plays on the ball. I don't want to see any hesitation. I want to see progress from number 52. I'm not even going to say his name right now. He's on the defensive side of the ball. He's a linebacker, number 52. I want to see the progress he's made that Cole Holcomb said he has made. I want to see it.
Shout out to Corey from On the Warpath. Make sure you head out to his channel. Always a fun guy. Talking about in Matsko we trust, and also wants to see some hits Saturday evening. Of course, you can catch the practice at FedEx Field this Saturday. There's sure going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be fun. Katie is starting a drinking game. Drink every time Trev makes a command reference.
You know what? I think she's trying to take command of the show by making a drinking game, and that's not going to happen. So, all right.
I tell you what, we've got Rio backstage. I know that he won't be joining us via video. Seems like they might have been trying to get that to work, but we will have him on audio coming up here on Rough the District. The game coming up. The game is brought to you by Pacers Running Stores. Pacers has 6 stores in Northern Virginia and DC. For the best running footwear, apparel, and gear, just stop by or schedule a virtual fitting with the best running experts in the business. Pacers Running exists to help as many people as possible through running. For every run, it's Pacers Running. All right, welcome back to the game. I did not remove the branding. We'll take care of that real quick. Yep. We are being joined here on Ref the District for the first time live with Rambling Rio Robinson. Thanks for joining us here on Ref the District. Give you the honorary clapping here.
What's going on, guys? Can y'all hear me fine?
Yeah, yes, and you look good too, Rio, man. What you been doing? You been losing weight? You looking good, kid.
I think I look better off camera like this. Just a little logo over there, man.
Just jump a little bit
on with us.
Jump a little bit closer to the mic too. It's a little bit quiet, but it's not bad.
I got you. I'm so. It's so unfortunate. This is the second time something has come up when I'm supposed to be on live with you guys. The first time I had to impromptu be a father, and this time I'm having some car trouble. So I'm sitting here waiting on roadside assistance as we speak. But the show must go on, right?
Wow, yes, sir. Geez. Show must go on, Rio.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
That's right.
How y'all feeling about camp so far?
Camp's looking pretty good. You got a better shot at camp yesterday. Got to meet Annie Agar, and the practice was really happening on your side of the field. So what are you feeling about training camp?
To piggyback off a conversation you guys were just having a couple minutes ago, Cole Turner's going to start. He's going to start for us week 1 because Logan Thomas is nowhere near ready, and he has got every number 1 rep since camp started. They are not just putting the training wheels on him. Bates has been nursing something to start camp. Cole is getting all of the work and has a great rapport being built with Carson Wentz. And he looks the absolute part. I call him Aquaman. He looks like a little curly hair. He looks like a little curly hair Jason Momoa surfer dude. He has the most calm demeanor. He's just happy to be there, man. He's like, man, whatever they ask of me, I got you guys, man. He's just a cool Zen surfer dude who just goes out and catches everything thrown at him. He's routing dudes up, and he's a vertical threat. I love John Bates. I love what he does, but we need the guy. We need a guy that's going to go out there and catch passes. And even if you know he's on the field to catch passes, ball's still going there, and you can do nothing about it. That's what I need. I'll say Cole Turner has made one of the biggest impressions on me out of my 2 days that I've been at camp so far.
Yeah, he is definitely a big dude. So that big impression is a big impression. We're going to go to Roger Smith here. Someone tell me why Alex Amara is even on this team. Scott doesn't believe in a fullback in any formations, and they don't believe in power football at all. Rio, what's going on with Alex Amara here on the Washington Commanders?
And are we going to have a fullback this year?
That's a great question because I ain't really seen him being utilized so far in the 2 days I've been
He was doing blocking drills with Samus Reyes. And
Mans be running practice with the special team and the defense. I don't even be seeing him on the offensive side of the ball during practice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's for my take on Roger's question here. I think that really this is just a camp body at this point. You're going to see what I've seen with Scott Turner's offense is while he doesn't want a designated fullback, you do see the tight end rotate into that position, right? When they adjust, you'll see one of the tight ends come over and play that fullback role. So I do think that there's purpose there, and of course, having a designated fullback maybe not the best option. Stoner, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he's just a camp body. Basically, he's been a camp body. Feels like the last couple of years, and they've had to call him in when they've needed him at certain times. So, I mean, we shouldn't worry about him. That's what I'm saying. So Roger's asking the question, and we'll answer it. But he's just not a guy that you're going to worry about having to deal with on this roster. They don't have a fullback position. Just don't worry about Alex, Amar, or Amra or whatever.
Looks like we lost Rio for just a little bit, which is a shame. I was just about to ask him.
I was going to ask him a question too.
I was going to ask him a question for you, Trev. I wanted him to tell you all about his time with Annie Agar.
Yeah, I know. I want to know, man. Because
Right.
she's retweeted me and liked some of my tweets a couple times, so I feel like we kind of know each other. But
Got that connection. Got that connection.
Hey, well, I think Rio's back. Yeah.
Rio, I got a question though. So you said Cole Turner was a stud on offense. You notice anybody who's kind of a stud on defense, like? Or is the secondary flying around? Has communication gotten better? Has Jack Del Rio kind of got a grasp on this defense or no?
Two guys, Montez Sweat and Kendall Fuller, look phenomenal. But Fuller looks as healthy as he's looked since he's returned, ever since he came back from Kansas City. That guy is flying around. He locked Terry's ass up all practice yesterday. And Montez Sweat is unblockable. I need this energy when the game start, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. They had no pads on the first day I was out there, but even with pads on, this dude is there's no excuse for him not having double-digit sacks if he's healthy for the year, because he chirps a lot. He can have his immaturity that Ron will point out every single day, but the dude is an absolute stud. They stand out every single play. Montez Sweat stands out every play. First of all, he towers over everybody else on the field. No one can block him. And Cosme held his own a few times with him in one-on-ones, but during team, him and Payne just absolutely wreck everything. And they don't really give the offense a chance to do what it wants to do, but they look good, man. And that rookie, Jahan Dotson, he looks every bit as advertised so far, and he's a guy.
Everyone's going to forget about Chris Olave by the time the end of the exactly.
I forgot his name, and I was in love with him, man.
I know, right?
Yeah, Rio, you were really mad. I remember watching your draft video. I was in shock. I didn't know what to go on. Shout out to Corey in the chat here. Rio, which one of those two names do you think gets paid first? Because both are coming due. I know we got Montez Sweat for a little bit longer, but Deron Payne coming up on a contract year. Do either or both of those guys get paid by Washington?
I think Deron Payne gets paid first, but by another team. I think he's out of here after the season, unfortunately, but I think he's going to have his best year as a pro. It's a contract year. He's not only auditioning for a long-term contract here, he's auditioning for the other 31 teams in the league. And we're going to get a compensatory pick when he inevitably leaves us, like the guard just did in the offseason. And Montez is definitely going to get a contract. I don't think the decision is going to be between him and Chase. I think him and Chase are both going to be retained unless Chase just absolutely is terrible coming off an injury, and I don't expect that to happen. I think the priority is going to be the two edge guys. You already locked up one of the interior guys, and you drafted one in the second round. So, unfortunately, I don't see Payne a part of the long-term future here. But I could be very wrong, though. Ron likes to keep the gang together. I just can't see that much money being allocated into one room of the team.
So, Rio, I want to ask you about Curtis Samuel. Where do you fall on the Curtis Samuel? Is it this is just his thing and he's just never going to be the guy that Washington thought they were getting from Carolina? Or is he going to kind of overcome all of this noise and all of this issues that he's having? And is he going to be that number 2/number 3 guy that this team really needs?
It's so hard to come with a concrete concise answer to that, because I feel like I have to knock on wood every time I say his name on my show. Like I knock on the wall every time I say Curtis Samuel. Like he is becoming like the legend. Like they're gonna build a statue on the side field of Ashburn one day. It's gonna be called Curtis Samuel Field. But when he's out there, he looks so good. Nobody can cover him. He's routing guys up. He looks absolutely electrifying. He gives our offense an element we don't have. He was Debo before Debo. He's the original Samuel. He's the OG Samuel. But true. And he told me and Jalen to our faces, I'm turning this shit up this year. And I believed him. He said it wholeheartedly, and I believed him. But I don't know if we're slow playing it, if we're being safe, if Ron's just being safe with his guy. I don't know. I don't know what to say. If he's on the field, he's going to ball. But we don't know what him being on the field looks like yet, because he has 1 day full go, and he's back to the Peloton 1 Ashburn cycling team. So
Richardson University, as Corey is calling it in our chat right now. We did get to see him, Curtis Samuel, practicing on the side field, and he looked like he was practicing, doing the individual drills at full speed. Yeah, I know he was at practice today, but it looks like he can play, right? Like, and he's going to tear it up like Rio's talking about.
He's explosive as hell.
Yeah, you just need to see it on game day is the big thing.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
Rio,
it's like how I feel about the supernatural, man. I got to see it to believe it first,
Amen. So who's going to lock up that 5th, 6th wide receiver spot, Rio? Have you Kevin Harmon? I hear Dak Mills' name a lot from all the beat reporters on the timeline. I hear he's stepping it up. Is Dak's going to make this squad, you think? How's he looking?
Someone I'm low on. I'm very low on Kelvin Harmon, but he's having a good camp. Both days I've been out there, he's being targeted. He's Sam Howell's guy. Like with the third team, he's all really Sam Howell has with the third team. So he could be the guy that ends up number 6 on the team, but it's just probably bold. I would call Dax Milne a lock to make the team. Mr. Steal Your Girl is a lock to be on the roster.
Thank you.
You're making Trev a very happy man now.
Yes.
There's a bigger fan.
He's got good feet, bro. He's got really good route running trees.
He has good technique. He's like the only dude that I see consistently route BSJ up in practice. Like St. Juice, he cut him up something serious the other day. He catches everything thrown at him. He runs good routes. He runs good depth on his routes. And I'm going to assume he's going to take over the full-time DeAndre Carter return role. So Dax Milne, I see Dax Milne as a lock wide receiver 5. Wide receiver 5 or 6, wherever you want to slot him and Cam Sims. Because Cam Sims, he's the big body possession guy. I don't really see much different than the norm with Cam Sims at camp. So I assume that him and Dax are going to round out the receiving room. And if they keep an extra, it'll be Harmon. But Harmon's probably going to be on the practice squad.
I think we're burying the lead here, right?
Yeah, I was about to get to it.
Rio, got to ask you, Carson Wentz.
Yes, sir.
Last couple of days, he has, from all reports, he has bounced back, not thrown any picks in practice, and that's a good thing. Are you a Carson Wentz believer, Mr. Rio?
I'm 100% 10 toes down in the Commander Carson Wentz bandwagon because, one, we need him to be. We need every fan to all be here. We need to all be saluting to Commander Wentz because we don't want to go through another season of multiple quarterbacks, guy. No. Aren't y'all tired of seeing a full depth chart of quarterbacks take the field every season? I don't want to see a Garrett Gilbert. I don't want to see Garrett Gilbert play prime time football.
What's eating Gilbert grape?
I don't want to see that. And yes, he's had his off days. On Friday, there was he started 7-on-7s, very sharp. Ball didn't touch the ground. We got to 11-on-11 work. He sailed like 5 passes. Also, as fans, we need to pump the brakes. The media, they like to put a magnifying glass on mistakes at camp. I'm watching the reports coming out on Prescott, Mahomes, Hurts. If you're going to throw picks, throw them shits at practice. Don't throw them on Sunday. You're working on timing with a new set of guys. This is your third team in 3 years. It is not going to – Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to have automatic timing with these guys overnight. Terry was not a part of the offseason program. Cole Turner was not running with the ones all offseason. So there's an adjustment to make. I do wish that he didn't miss high so much considering the fact that he's like a 7-foot quarterback. Like so missing high is a little strange, but he's definitely picked it up over the last couple days. He loves Jahan Dotson. He's always looking for Jahan Dotson. The rapport with Cole Turner looks good. It just feels good to see a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback with the arm to throw it and layer it all over the field and take shots, because we haven't had that before. It is a sight. When you go to camp, it is a sight to see Wentz and Howell throw next to each other and then watch poor little Heineke's arm next to theirs. Or even the big ostrich-looking Cole Kelly. Like, those are 3 live arms. And, like, it's like, bless your heart, Taylor. I love you, my guy. But it just looks like a little water gun next to these howitzers.
The super soakers, yep.
It's certainly more noticeable. There's a couple times we saw Taylor Heineke get some zip behind the ball, but I was talking to Stoner about it. It's not all the time. It's when he's able to drive the ball, you can see that, he can put some strength behind it. But you're right. Those others, Sam Howell's out there flicking his wrist and the ball's going 40 yards down.
That boy arm is serious. My. It is a sight to see, because he's the same height as Heineke, even though he's built. He's big, stocky as hell. But it's Wentz's arm or Heineke's body. It looks nuts when you see it in person.
Yeah, it's something else. To your note about the interceptions, definitely want to have them happen now. And we're going to remind people, Carson Wentz has a career touchdown to interception rate of 140 touchdowns to 57 interceptions.
4-1.
The guy does not throw interceptions very often during the season. He's had only 2 years that he's been over 10 interceptions. His rookie season and that historically bad last season in Philadelphia. Other than that, he's just been throwing 7 interceptions per these. So I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about that when it comes to Carson, and that the arm is as advertised. Now,
I'll note though, he did have a play. Me and Jalen were like, oh, here comes that Indy shit again, where he was rolling left and he kind of dumped it with his left hand. And if I see that man attempt a left hand pass in game this year, because he attempted like 4 in Indianapolis last year, I may lose my mind. And I'm all aboard the Wentz bandwagon. Shit, I may get a Wentz jersey, because I needed the work. I needed to see 11 wins this year. I needed to know that we're capable of it in our lifetime. Trev, we've never seen it, bro.
Nah, we've never seen it, bro. We've seen 10.
We've never seen a quarterback throw 30 touchdowns in our lifetime. Sonny Jurgensen, that's 55 years ago. That's 25 years before I was born. I need to know the quarterback can throw for 4,000
I'm right there with
yards,
you, Rio.
30 touchdowns to lead us to 11 wins. So if Wentz is that guy, we need him to lock it down and get a ring put on his finger, because right now it's a trial engagement.
You know what's great? You know what's great though, that what we haven't heard in camp, we haven't really heard about Terry McLaurin, because Terry McLaurin is just doing Terry McLaurin things, and we all expect it. Because there was one play when we were there on Monday, and I told Nathan this right away when we saw it, and it was like a triple move that McLaurin put. I don't even remember who was on him, and Carson threw it just on time and on target. And I said, you know what, Nathan? I think something just moved in my pants. That's how pretty it was. It was so beautiful to watch. And McLaurin did it with no effort. It was so smooth.
He went back to his high school days where he had to pick up his backpack and hold it in front of him for a little while.
Rio, what's number 52 on the defense looking like? I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't deserve it yet. But number
we talk about J-Man. We talk about First of all, J-Man. If Jamin's play matched his confidence and bravado, we would have an absolute stud linebacker, because he walks, carries himself with the bravado as if he's Devin White, or like he looks the part physically. He's not having a bad camp so far, but a linebacker like Khalik Hudson has stood out more than Jamin when running with the ones.
Wow.
You know, we're not in base too often. So the 3 linebackers on the field for most of what I've seen have been Khalik, Jamin, and Cole. And Khalik's been making play. Khalik should have picked Carson twice, but dropped them both on Friday when we were out there. Khalik's actually looking like he belonged. Khalik, I don't even consider him a factor. So to actually see him out there,
Kyle called him out as a backup and special teams player.
yeah,
that's coming from
that's
John
what he's.
Kine.
And that's what he's been. He's not someone I factored into the I'm going to be on the defense side of a ball. But apparently something is like arisen and awoken in him because he looks like he wants to be a part of the defensive equation and he doesn't want to be in the Keith Ishmael, Sadiq Charles obscurity of the world.
Dominique brings up Anthony Barr to the Cowboys. Commanders miss again. Is that a disappointment to you, Rio, that they didn't get Anthony Barr?
No, Barr is not a world beater at this point. Like, he's not the savior. He's not the chess piece that's the cherry on top of the defense. We need to see what these linebackers are capable of. I need to see that Jamin Davis is better than David Mayo, because if he's not, that's a huge miss and a glaring hole in the middle of that defense. And behind this defensive line, your job shouldn't be that hard. Cole Holton's a baller. He's sharp every day. I don't even have to pay close attention to Cole. 55 is always flashing and flying all over the place. I need that to be Jamin Davis as well.
Yeah, I want to remind people Anthony Barr was available this late into the offseason for a reason.
Yep.
So you're not picking up a Pro Bowl player this late in the season, at least
not because he's lighting the world on fire.
Yeah, so it's not going to happen that way. I'm going to go back to Ben Willard's question here. If you had to choose a QB to back up Carson, are you going with Sam or Taylor?
Me personally?
Yeah, today.
Off of skill set and stuff, it would be Sam. But Sam, I'm not putting him. I want that boy to bake. I want to put him in the slow cooker and let him cook till 2024. I don't need to see him on a field quicker than he needs to be, because if Wentz gets hurt, God forbid, knock on wood, or for some reason he has to be in the game, I need the person that has the experience. No, I don't ever want to see Taylor start a game for us, but I will take Taylor's dependability and experience in the offense over Sam Howell. With that being said, though, as soon as I see Sam Howell play a couple preseason games, I'll probably be sold for him.
Exactly, bro.
The ball comes out of his hand as fast as every quarterback on the roster. He knows exactly where he's going with the ball. He already speaks the offensive language fluently. You can tell he knows exactly where he wants to go as soon as the ball is snapped to him. And I love it. It comes out with zip. He can touch it up when he needs to.
I'm cheesing, bro. I'm a Taro guy.
Bro, we're going to have fun this preseason. Watch. We get Howell versus Corral in like 2 weeks.
Ooh, that's true. That's going to be lightning.
Less than 2 weeks. Like 10 days.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And how about you guys? You guys want to answer that question for Ben? Who do you want? I know Trev wants Sam.
Yeah, I'm Sam Howell. I don't care.
No, I'm a Heineke guy as far as this year. That's who you want to go in
for sure,
and face the fire when guys are coming at you left and right. You don't want Sam Howell, a rookie, to be out there and just be frozen with everything that's being thrown at him this year. Next year's a totally different story. This year, I want Heineke coming in.
Yeah, Taylor's passes be taking the duration of camp to get to the receiver. Yo, that's crazy.
They are definitely a lot more floating. We talked about this a little bit earlier about the tight ends. There's just something about Cole Turner compared to Hodges and Rodgers where he's just that fraction of a second quicker, and that's all it takes, right? And that's the same thing when it comes to these QBs. They all threw some, like in the drill portion, they were throwing all perfect spirals, looked beautiful, but you could just tell Taylor Heineke's passes were just that fraction of a second later.
He hesitates.
There was a couple fractions, man. Them Jones be hanging. You need panoramic view to follow that jump to the receiver, man. But I love Taylor though. I love the guy. I would love to have a beer with him. It's just, I don't want to see him start games. 16 game sample size is more than enough for a guy that's almost 30 and was on the couch a year and a half ago. We need to call it what it is and not sell ourselves a dream that our savior was going to accounting classes 18 months ago.
Thank you.
Rio, you're going to be in at FedEx on Saturday?
Oh, I'm in the building, man. I'll definitely be there. I'll be there as soon as they open the gates for the upstairs Taste the FedEx event and for the practice. So I'll be up there.
Very nice.
Nice. So
I'm gonna
hopefully
be at training camp next week. Rio, I'll be there next Tuesday and Wednesday. One of those.
Oh
days.
yeah, let me
Maybe
know what
both.
days you're going because I'm trying to go back because clearly they don't want to get memed anymore about not having fans there. And
Yes.
I got an email that said whatever days you'd like to reserve an amount of guests, you go ahead and let us know. And that joke gave us me the option to check any day I wanted to come up there for the rest of the camp.
Did you get some? You weren't there today, right? You were there just yesterday.
Nah, I was there yesterday and last Friday.
Nice.
Well, tell our man Trev, how was your meeting with?
Oh yeah,
Annie
please,
Agar?
bro. I love Annie Agar so much.
Oh man! First of all, it was funny being with Josh, like because Josh is like in love with Annie Agar.
Huge
And
crush on. Yeah, Josh has a huge crush.
I get the infatuation now that I've got to meet her. First of all, we're sitting there talking, and someone's coming down the hill. I was like, "Yo, that girl looks just like Annie Agar." And then she took like 3 more steps. I was like, "Oh, that's definitely Annie Agar, bro. She knows Ron." He was like, "But she has a Washington jersey." I was like, "No, that's definitely Annie Agar." So she's as advertised. She's hilarious. She's funny. She looks great. She's great to look at for sure. She has a very bubbly personality. And of course, I'm going to shoot my shot to get her on the show. And we had that conversation. We were going to shoot a little something at practice, but she was tied up because she was doing content of her own. She gave me all her contact information. She put the number and information in my phone. So we're definitely going to make that happen. It was awesome meeting her, man. The people she was with were great. And I would like to see people like this show up to practice more. She's fun. She's good.
Yeah.
Her shirt, she had the best shirt on there. It was a Wayne's World shirt that said Wentz's World. And it was Carson and Terry on the shirt. It was amazing.
That's
Nice.
dope.
Well, it's been fun having you on here with us, Rio. We'll let you go. Appreciate you joining us here. Maybe next time we'll get that video worked out for you. But you have a great night, and make sure the Perrys will be there at on Saturday, so I'll have to hit you up. And then Trev said Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, so make sure you hit up Trev next week.
Oh, make sure your camera ready because I'm gonna be vlogging when I'm out there, man.
Got you. Charged up.
Appreciate y'all having me on, man.
Yeah, of course. This is Rambling with Rio Robinson. Make sure you check out his channel. You probably already subscribed. As you can hear, he's got some great content, and he's got more good content coming. Thanks again, Rio. You have a great night.
Buddy.
Take care, guys.
When we come back for the cool down, we're going to talk a little bit more training camp, and then we'll move into a couple other topics. Make sure that you get your questions in there. Corey, we're going to have to see you on Saturday. That's something there. There's a couple of these questions I want to get to, but we're going to wait until we're in the cool down to get to those questions. Make sure you get more questions in right after this. So one of the things that about camp is you do get to see those camp battles, right? For us, it's very important to see some of those newer players and how they're going to do, those rookies. And Carson Wentz obviously is a big name. But Yam brings up a very valid point here. If Yam is in camp, he's watching those maybe players with more interest than guys that are going to make the team and are already starting. Stoner, for you, was there any of those guys that were kind of maybe roster players that you were looking at?
I'm kind of the opposite. I just like looking at the guys that I know I'm going to see on Sundays play most of the time. You guys hear me say it all the time. I don't care who the 6th receiver is or the 10th offensive lineman or anything, because you don't want to see them playing on Sundays because they're that far down the depth chart for a reason. But we had that chance to be able to look, like I said, at those tight ends, right? With the Armani Rogers and I always Curtis Hodges, right? And see them up close and see what they're like. And then the running backs, you got to see Jarrett Patterson and Jonathan Williams, and then that guy Bonifo, I think his name is. They were right in front of us. And again, just watching them, you can't really tell that they are – 4th and 5th and 6th guys on the depth chart until you compare them to the guys who are ahead of them on the depth chart. Because, if you just watched Patterson and his feet and all that and doing those drills, what a stud, right? But then you see Brian Robinson do it, And you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, there's a difference. You can see
Right.
the difference.
It's like one extra step that Williams and Patterson and those guys
Mm-hmm.
are taking compared to Gibson, JD, and Brian Robertson. Those guys are just getting out so much quicker. Trev, what are some of those maybe roster guys that you're looking at? Dax Milne?
Yeah, I love wide receivers. I think that the wide receiver position is a sweet science in itself because it all starts from literally the get off at the line of scrimmage, just like how linemen, remember Junior Gillette, not popular anymore, but his get off for us in the league was amazing. So I kind of like to see that because I do want to see, now that we have more offensive weapons, and I think our playbook could open up even more, maybe we might see 4 wide receiver sets, maybe even 5 sometimes, once or twice. So you kind of want to see the bottom of the line guys who've been here for a year or two, practice squad, preseason. You want to see if they actually made any progress because you kind of get attached to them. And we also are the Washington Commanders. I mean, we might have the health thing figured out now, but that is something that we have to watch out for. COVID's still a thing too. So it is kind of important to see the guys that can step up and take a spot if needed to.
Yeah, Yam also talked about that. You want your 2 3s and 4s to be performing well because we're probably going to see them throughout the season.
Yeah,
it's a long season.
It is
Injuries
what it is.
happen. I agree with you, Trev, on the fact that I like to see some of those developing guys, right? I like to see the Shaka Tonys, the William Bradley Kings. I want to see how they're performing. Obviously when Chase comes back, you expect him to be a stud. You expect Montez to show out and to look as good as Tez looks, right? But when he's not when he's not on the field, who's in the place is Tuhill is going to be covering down. What are you getting out of those kind of plays? I like Tuhill. I like Shaka Tony. So you really want some of those EPs looking for some Jarrett freaking Patterson there.
For what?
Rio, thanks for jumping back in for the chat here. No worries about the video. We appreciate you just jumping on with us. It was good to shoot the breeze, as I like to say, as far as that's concerned.
Well, what would you rather see then? In all seriousness, would you rather watch drills or plays or whatever with Carson to Terry, or with Cole Kelly to Hazard? You know what I mean?
I would want to see the drills with Carson Wentz to Terry. But then live action. I kind of want to see backups and developing in the live action a little bit more to see if they're ready for the NFL action or not.
I think you treat it a little bit like preseason, Stoner. You see the ones for a couple of plays. You see what they're capable of.
That's fair.
But then you want to see those backups. You want to see what you're going to get from the rest, because you're going to see. Hopefully, you're going to see those starters for 17 games.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to know who's. It's kind of like in baseball. You have those prospects that Juan Soto was just traded for. You want to see those guys because you want to see, is this going to be your next Juan Soto, right? Or is Dotson really your next Terry McLaurin? Obviously, he's been running with the ones. One of the things that I would say is pretty interesting as far as when you're at camp is you can kind of tell how the depth chart is playing out by where people are lining up and what they're doing and who they're participating with, right? So when Sam Howell's throwing the ball, who's he throwing the ball to? Because that's your third string. That's your third string right there. That's your end of the roster kind of guys.
Ooh, and Dax has been running with the ones and twos a little bit. So
Dax has been really impressive. I think that he's he's been moving up the depth chart. Likewise, Samus Reyes was, when they were doing drills, Samus Reyes was working on blocking with a tight end, Alex, who we know is not going to make the team.
He might be a sleeper pick, Stoner. I'm not even lying now.
Who might be a sleeper
Dax
pick?
Milne?
No, Samus Reyes.
Samus Reyes
might be a sleeper. What, to make the team?
Yeah,
he did run a couple drills with the ones, but the practice, what they had him working on was his blocking, not his receiving, which is where Turner, Hodges, and Rogers was. Then and this is where I'm talking about as far as the breakout comes, right? So those 3 tight ends were doing the receiving drills, right? The ones that we can tell, like that 5-yard outs and everything. Then when they broke off, 2 tight ends, Trev, went over to go do the wide receiver catching drills with the QBs. Which 2 went over there? Remember, Bates is on the sideline.
Right.
So 2 of the 4.
Two of the 3. I'll make it 2 of the 3 for you because there's only 3 who were doing the drills beforehand for route running. That was Cole Turner, Curtis Hodges, and Amari Rogers. Which of those 2 went over and did the drills, and which of the other ones went over to do blocking drills with the linemen?
So Samus Reyes went over to do blocking drills with the linemen, and then Rogers and Hodges stayed and caught some passes.
No. It was Cole Turner and Hodges going over to catch passes. Cole Turner often working with Wentz in that regard. And Mari Rogers, who I think a lot of people were pretty high on coming to camp.
Sneak in there too.
I don't know. I think Hodges is the more favored one. And partly because because he went over to catch those passes rather than going over and blocking with Amari Rogers in the line. I thought that was a very interesting thing to kind of watch.
Logan Thomas is healthy. Does he still go over there and catch the Logan and Cole, or does he stay with
Hodges? Might not go over to receive if Logan Thomas is healthy and playing.
Okay.
I don't know. Stoner, you agree with that? Or
which is which? Because again, I keep getting them mixed up. I just remember their
45
numbers.
45 is Hodges. He's the bigger dude.
I like Hodges. Because, like I said, he's as big as Cole Turner, just about. And I don't know. I like him a little bit better. So him and Turner and Logan and Bates. I think those are the 4 guys. I think Samus is done. Sorry. He's done. He's done. It was a good experiment. It was fun. Yeah. I don't know. Somebody put it here in the chat.
He'll go to the Giants. Watch.
Dougford said it. He said, "There's drama in the battle for an NFL roster spot." That's very true. There's drama, and Hard Knocks has done a great job over the years of kind of, finding these guys at the end of the roster and their struggle to make the team, and kind of glorify that whole thing. But again, I don't want to see guys at the end of the roster ever playing. So I just don't care about those last positions. I care about what Carson Wentz is doing with Terry McLaurin and Dotson and Samuel and Diami and things like that. That's what I look for, and that's what I want to check out every practice. And let me tell you something also, Trev. Here's something that I noticed in camp. That B-Rob, right?
Yeah.
Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
He's
huge.
He's one well put together fella.
Yeah, he's huge, bro.
He is now he's about the same size as Gibson. He
is legit the same size. I think he's actually technically smaller than Gibson.
But there's something there. It's just the way the muscle and the way he's put together.
He's gonna run over some people.
Gibson. He is a well put together young fella, and again, I didn't like the pick because I didn't want to run him back in the 3rd round. But now that he's here, I hope that he gets gets some playing time. And
he definitely will. I believe
I'm still skeptical, but I will say this, Trev, on B-Rob.
Yeah.
At OTAs, we got to watch him kind of go through those drills, and he just looked kind of like he was just going through the motions. Didn't really look fast to me, right? Like, and this is a guy that you want to be able to just hit and move the pocket and the lineman. He impressed me during training camp, watching those same drills. He didn't have the lateral movement that I was hoping he would have. But when the coach went go, he went like he was gone, like 2 steps out the door. Like I was impressed. So I was just like, okay, now I see why people are excited about him in that one. So I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. There's some good back and forth here. Of course, we have the Jag University of people dogging Reyes and stuff. I wanted to talk. There's a hot take here by Johnny Boy 26 that I'm trying to find right now. He says Brian Robinson is going to take over the starting. Here it goes. B-Rob takes the starting running back position by week 12. He's going to be great in colder months. What do you guys think about B-Rob taking over Gibson's starting role by week 12?
It's very realistic. I mean, we saw shades of Antonio Gibson, cough up the position at the running back a few times last year, and is that going to carry on to this year, or is it going to get better? Because that's a legit possibility. He could be the starter by week 12. That means AG, you got 12 weeks to get your stuff right, or else Brian Robinson is right there knocking on the door. So that's I like that hot take. I don't know why he'll do great in the colder months. I don't know why that.
You usually you see less passing as the months get colder, and you try to see a little bit more running. Historically speaking, when you're talking about playing outdoors, and I know our man Roger would love to see that because he is not a fan of the offense that Scott Turner is running. What do you guys feel about Scott Turner? These are really the first legitimate weapons he's had here under the Commanders.
That's it.
Is that
full stop?
That's all you need.
Right there, Nathan. Right there.
Look what he did in Carolina with half of the playmakers that we have here.
That's right.
We went and got one of them, Curtis Samuel.
He's got the weapons. Now we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out real quick whether Scott Turner is a legitimate offensive coordinator in this league. We're going to find out.
Now he has zero excuse.
No excuses. He's got the quarterback. He's got the weapons all over the field.
The running back, the tight end.
He's got it everywhere. Everything. So we're going to find out real quick.
I think you're going to find out, Roger, the identity that you're saying that it has no identity right now. I think you're going to see that identity this year kind of come out with the quarterback that they want and movement. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, Stoner, you kind of brought up that there's no excuses, right? For Scott Turner. There's been no excuses this whole time for Jack Del Rio. Trev, what are we expecting out of the defense, especially with the second-year linebacker that people aren't even sure if he's going to be the starting linebacker? If Jamin Davis plays less than 50% of snaps and this defense is mid again, decidedly mediocre, what do we do with Jack Del Rio?
You fire him. You cut him loose.
Are you talking about in the middle of the year or at the end of the year?
You let him go middle of the year and go ahead and promote Chris Harris as interim defensive coordinator, and then he's probably gone too. No offense, but I love Chris Harris. I really do. And I think he's doing a great job with the DBs. He's, I guess, so far this year. But anyway, get rid of him. If we're the 3-7 out of playoff contention, Carson Wentz has had an okay year. We're not benching him. But it's mainly because of the defense. If we're allowing more points than we are putting up by that time while we're losing, get rid of them, promote Chris Harris, and then begin the defensive coordinator search.
I think the defense is going to surprise some people this year.
So
I think the defense is going to be better.
That's what I was saying. This is his last year too, because we have how many first rounders on the defensive line? Mm-hmm. We've got some good solid players in the secondary and linebacker.
We got some money in the secondary.
We have some money in the secondary, and then we have Cole Holcomb in the middle. So like the offensive line is the pot of gold on our defense. If they can get to the quarterback, it'll make our mediocre positions behind them average and better than mediocre. So he has no excuse.
Yeah, and we have to always have to factor in the schedule too.
Yeah,
because these are all professional players.
We should eat.
Any team can beat Washington and score 40 on them every week. But relatively speaking, they should beat the teams like Jacksonville and Detroit and Houston. And we should all those teams that they're playing different than last year when this defense wasn't very good. Now they don't have to play all those talented quarterbacks, and they should do much better. And I think they're just being together for that year, gaining that experience with each other. There was almost no changeover, especially in the defensive backfield, other than Landon Collins.
Yeah.
Right. And he missed half the year.
Yeah.
Right. So there wasn't a whole lot of there's no changeover with that. So all they can do is get better. And I think they will. I don't think they're going to be great. They're not going to be world beaters.
No.
They're not going to be 27th, 28th, 29th ranked in all those categories. They're going to be in the mid-level again, and that's going to win you more games.
We can't have, like you said, the schedule. We can't have these teams with no offense come in and just wreck our defense. Like Davis Mills is throwing to who this year? I could name the wide receiver. I really can't.
Yeah.
Then you got the Giants offense is horrible. Then you have the Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb. That's it now. So like basically, if all these teams who have lack thereof on the offensive side, like we have, and we still get beat. Jack Del Rio's gone, bro.
Yeah, this is the year. Everything is set up perfectly for this to be the year, as Rio talked about, the year that we've all been waiting for for 30, 40, 50
11
years.
wins, 30 plus touchdowns.
Okay. I was going to say, yeah. So 11 wins. We get to the playoffs.
Mhm.
We win the division. All right, outright. That means we have a first round bye. We lose our playoff game in the second round. Is that still? Are you happy with that?
Second round? Oh, the
Yeah.
second round because you say we have a bye.
Yeah.
Now, not all division winners get a bye. One of them has to play.
Yeah,
right?
I think only one gets a bye now.
Oh yeah, only
Okay.
one gets a bye
Weekend,
now, that's
wild
right.
card
Which-
weekends. 3
Which
games.
one is the one that
on
gets
each
the
side.
bye? Does it?
It's the number one
does it
seed.
change?
The best, the one seed,
overall.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's say we make it to the playoffs. 11 wins. We lose the first round. Are you happy with the season?
1,000,000,000%. I'm
I
happy
am
with
too.
an 11 wins division title.
First
and you
round
get
playoff
knocked
exit.
out in the first round. That is a successful
It's an improvement over what
For
we've seen.
Amen.
Sure.
Amen.
for Washington.
I
I'm
will
with you.
say that I think there's room for probably still some growth. If they're 11, we talked about how easy the schedule is. If
Mhm.
we're in training camp, there's still a lot of things going on that we're getting excited. So we can say that they're going to win, 10 plus games, 11 games. But if those if those losses come to the teams that are winning and then they lose in the playoffs, are they really that much better than they were last year than this year, right? Because they're that paper tiger team that is their losses are against the good teams and their wins are against teams you figure. But is that still improvement?
See, that's
Don't
maybe
try
if
to
the
count it.
no, but if you want to, if our numbers are better this year, like if we score more points, average more yards, more touchdowns, less interceptions, less turnovers. Yeah, but that doesn't win you games necessarily, So I guess it's yes and no. Because honestly, for me personally, I'd be happy to see improvement number wise and stats wise. Throwing bombs, throwing successful screens, like successful first down runs, successful third down rate, conversion rate, like that's important to me because we haven't had that in Washington for a long time. It's just been mediocre, like dink and dunking, average 200 yards offense, 100 yards passing, 34 yards. Like it's just not. So if we can get,
you don't have to win 12 and 13 games and beat the Packers and beat the Cowboys. You don't have to beat all the great teams and all that in order to be successful or to have a successful season. All you have to do is finish with a top record, get into the playoffs, and anything can happen from there. And that's a successful season.
I'm with you.
So let's not get carried away that
but
you're going to win 11 games and you're going to be disappointed. Hello, this is Washington. 11 games
Ashburn
is the best
syndrome.
Yeah,
That's the best
first
thing that's happened in 30
time hitting 11.
Yes.
Yeah, 11
Yeah, come
wins
on.
since
Let's not
get
they
carried away.
last went to the Super Bowl. I'm going to give a shout out to some of those that we haven't in the chats as it's been blowing up over there. Alcatone, Metaphor, John, Red Wings, Redskins Weekly in the chat as well. Shout out. Thanks for everyone joining us there and having some heated discussions as going back and forth on the
Corey's been
things.
hanging out for a long time.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Corey. 17-0, baby. That's right, Metaphor. Until we find out otherwise, we're going 17-0, and then it'll be 16-1. You got to stay optimistic on how this is going to be. John here. Hey, Nathan, I'm just going to tell you, way back in the day, depends once championships, but now it's offense, and I just do not think we're only going to finish 7-10. John's been a little bit of a pessimistic in the chat here. He doesn't think that they're going to perform all that well. I think we're a little bit more optimistic. I will say this: be very reasonable with your expectations. Okay, be very reasonable with your expectations. This is a team that a lot of people are nationally are down on, and Vegas is down on. So you don't want to go too hot. I think that things are there. The dominoes can fall for them, but you want to be very, very 20-0. Alcatone, love it.
Going right for it.
Love it.
Go all the way.
But yeah, you want to manage those expectations. We were going to talk about some other things, so we're going to shift gears a little bit. Of course, we can still talk about that. It is the day after Juan Soto was traded.
Day after reckoning, you can call it.
Yeah, As you can see, my man Stoner is still in black. I chose the Kerrigan jersey for today, but
I chose the
underneath it,
Super
I have
Bowl
a
jersey.
black shirt.
So I got dreams and aspirations for us.
There we
guys.
go.
Super Bowl.
I know I'm annoyingly optimistic. Trev might even have me beat. Like Trev switches gears so quickly. He might be
I'm like
be
a 6-speed,
down
baby.
moment, and then next time he's just like, no, we're going to the Super Bowl. Stoner, you and I were hurt really bad by this trade. You know, Trev is a trader.
I'm not hurt.
He's a Braves fan. He's a casual baseball guy. I'm going to get to this offense and defense question for the Super Bowls. By the way, you guys wait for that one because I have something to say about that right now. In the Soto thing, day after. Stoner, are you feeling any better?
No, I'm not. I'm still pissed about it. I'm still really, really pissed about it. And I could go on a rant, but if you want to see the rant, just watch what we did a live last night talking about the whole situation. You can go see it. I'm pissed. They did not have to trade him. There's something. A day later, there's something behind the scenes that we don't know that forced this trade that hasn't come out yet. And someday it will come out. Whether it's Soto demanding that he's not ever going to sign here, which that has not come out, or Mike Rizzo is going to say, look, I said I was taking orders from the learners, but the learners were trying to figure out the best way to sell this team and get the most money out of it. Not what was best for the baseball organization. And someday something like that's going to come out because it still doesn't make sense to me why everybody felt that they had to make that trade. It's just insane.
Bro, he's all over the timeline and the Padres threads, and it's just
it makes me sad. I am starting to try to get to know these guys who we got in, to replace Juan Soto. But yeah, right now I'm still just not happy with the trade overall, and seeing him, with the Padres is not great. I'm
not gonna lie.
I don't want this trade.
He looks good in he looks good in that uniform. It fits him well. I like the color.
I was just getting ready to do that myself. We just can't have.
We can't have that. We can't have that. Not in mourning, Trev. Not while we're mourning. I will say, as far as this, Rizzo did come out and say that there was never a counteroffer from Boris. Right? Like it was just them doing a thing. Trev, we're gonna welcome you back just briefly. You say anything about Soto in a Padres uniform, I'm removing you again.
Okay, fine.
So But yeah, day after, still not feeling great. We'll see where we feel on that next week. This now brings us to a question. It has been 3 decades since the Commanders have been a good team. We have a whole different banner. If you did not visually see what my man Trev just did, he brought up the video of Tatis meeting.
I love when you say Tatis.
I don't care. Tatis. His
name is Fernando Tatis Jr.
You're still not welcome here, Trev.
I remember watching his dad play. Tatis Sr.
Yeah, Tatis, whatever the guy's name is, he's
Manny Machado. Fernando.
He's now on the wrong team. That's the problem. Yeah, it's bad time. Is DC a good sports town? I think yes. Okay, we still have the women's teams are performing well.
You're insane.
You just had a championship 3 years ago by the Nats. You had a championship not too long ago for the Caps. I just don't think that people are overreacting when they're talking about DC not being a good sports town.
They're not.
DC's not a good sports town.
Not anymore.
I think
not anymore. Capitals proved that. Really the Wizards proved that. Nationals just proved that.
We're a bandwagon town. When the
Commanders have proved that over and over again.
When the team is good, the fans will jump on that and ride it. But if the team is no good, then no, they're not gonna support the teams around here. And we don't win a lot of championships around here either. The teams aren't helping the fans to get on that bandwagon.
Yeah, that's the first one in 2019, right?
You can say the Washington Spirit, but come on. I mean,
that's
I'm not
disrespecting part of the team.
The women's soccer, but nobody cares. I mean, most people don't care. We care casually. We care because it's
going to get our guys over at District Divided real mad at us for that kind of
stuff. We care because we're shamed.
No, No, okay, I know what you mean. I know of the majors
Nathan.
of the I can't, and I watched
Don't
the
Google it,
video from
Nathan.
today.
No, I'm not googling it. It's her name's on the tip of my head. She was the young player of the year. They have half the women's national team, the U.S.
Yeah.
women's
You
national
can't
team
name
on
one
there.
player.
My
you ever been to a
brain
game?
doesn't work, Stoner. You know that.
Trev,
Okay.
name me
Yeah.
one player from the women's team.
I can't, and I've never been to a game, but I see what you're saying. Of the
Have
major
Sanchez,
championships,
God,
quote
why am I-
unquote, we are not a championship city. And that's no discredit to the Washington Spirit because they are a championship team in Washington, yes. But I know what you mean of the core, like baseball, hockey, basketball, football. I know what you mean. We're not a championship city. And I know what you mean by like when people say, aren't they a championship city? Why? Because the Washington Spirit one, like I know what you mean. Like no one's gonna say that to make a case for a championship
Yeah,
city. That's
most
what you
people
mean,
will
like-
look at the big
Yes.
four, and
Yes.
when they're looking at the big four, they're looking at the men's big four. So a lot of people also disregard the Mystics, right? When it comes to the championships,
and they won.
and they won. They won fairly recently as well, and they're in the playoffs again this year. They have a
As
healthy
a four
Delta.
seed. Yeah,
right?
let's go. Natasha
You know,
Crowd.
The
Rui. They got a female Rui on their squad, bro.
They
That joins,
do.
that's
From
live.
Japan.
Yes.
No.
So I think there should be some excitement there. They don't get their just dues, right? They don't. No one pays them their dues, which is unfortunate. But
We're not, though.
I can see that. I can see where people. But we have more championships here from not just the big four, but from also the women's teams than a lot of other locations, right?
Yeah,
You know,
but
so-
when you think of championship city, you think of banner after banner after banner after great player after
Or
great
just-
player
or
after
Which
great
team
player.
which city
contenders,
is then? Which
Boston?
city is?
Boston, LA.
Okay, those are literally two of the markets that are larger than DC.
Okay. And what's the point?
Okay,
They win championships.
You guys are acting like they're competing against like Oklahoma City as far as like
They are.
no, they're not. That's
No, they're
that's not at
competing
all.
against New York and LA
Yes.
and
Yes.
Boston
And Miami
and
and
Miami and Houston
Dallas and Jerry Jones World in
More
Texas.
championships than Miami. I want to say they probably have more championships overall than even
who does?
Dallas. If you're talking about the big four and you can include the women's in there, so big six.
No, you're going with the big four. Don't try and expand it out just to win an argument. The big four, right? What
Yeah.
what was the city? Miami?
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins have won 2, I think, right? The Heat have won 1, 2, 3, at least 3 that I can think of. Baseball, the Marlins have won. They won
Philly.
1, right? And then what's the other one in hockey? They haven't won one in hockey yet. We've only
Vegas.
won 1 ourselves. Okay,
Toronto. Toronto's a championship city.
LA, New York, all these teams are much better cities as far as their teams being better and their fans being
And
better.
we're the nation's
Oh,
capital.
he's
So I
calling
don't
you
even.
out.
What do you say? The fans are better than.
He said all these other places have better fans than
Yeah, because they
DC.
win. They have something to cheer for. We don't.
That's right.
And that's why they're championship
and
cities.
that's why they're better fans.
What happened here, guys? We were so positive like 10 minutes
not-
ago.
I am positive, but I'm just being realistic.
Yeah, there's a realism. There's a realism too.
Yeah, I agree with Yam. Philadelphia is very similar in a lot of regards to DC. You know, the very passionate fan base, but he hasn't had a lot of winning.
Passionate fan base either. Sorry, they're
You
not.
don't?
No, only when the team is winning.
Winning. And they're
when the team
passionate
is
about.
winning, they'll be there.
That's
And-
fair. I think
and
that's for a
the
lot of
teams don't
teams,
win
though. I think
around
that's a
here
lot.
very often. And there is the transient town. That is an absolute factor. That is 1,000,000,000%. Look at you, Nathan. You love the Washington Commanders, the Nationals, the Caps, well, kind of, right? And then
I don't have
basketball.
a hockey
you're-
team outside of the Caps, at
in,
least.
in basketball, you're a Thunder fan.
Yeah,
right?
Wizards have grown
No,
on
you're
me.
a
but
Thunder
I-
fan. You've said
I
it
am.
many times.
I've said it
And
many,
you
many
love Sidney
times.
Crosby.
I'm a
for
Bulls
Christ's
fan.
sake.
I know that's why you guys won't actually allow me to be a Caps fan, is because I
And
actually
Trev.
like Sidney Crosby.
You like the Commanders. The Caps, you could name Alex Ovechkin, and that's it. Right?
Oshie and TJ Oshie and
That's
yeah.
about it. All right.
Yeah.
And
Bergstrom. Is it
Backstrom.
Backstrom?
And
Backstrom.
Trev, who's your basketball team? The Lakers.
I'm a Chicago
No,
Bulls
he's
fan.
a Bulls guy.
I do like the
Bulls
Lakers because I like
and
LeBron
Lakers.
James. Yeah, Bulls and Lakers.
And then baseball. You like the Braves. That's
yeah,
exactly
Chipper
what
Jones,
I'm
baby.
saying.
Andrew Jones, Fred McGriff, Greg Maddox, John
It's also
Smoltz, Tom
practically
Glavine,
in,
Andres Galarraga.
North Carolina. Okay, like,
That's what
he's
I'm
a
John
little bit
saying.
deeper.
Smoltz. Like,
I'm a military brat. I lived all the way around. Oklahoma's where I was born. I was there when Oklahoma City, stationed there when Oklahoma City became a team. So I do love the Wizards. Okay, I do. I'm not giving up my Oklahoma City fandom for the Wizards.
no, don't.
I'm full on supporting the Wizards, and Russell Westbrook was a big part of that. But I still support them. I follow them more than I follow Oklahoma City most of these days. One, because I actually get to watch the games out here.
Yes.
But yeah, you can't. I do get it. Like, but this is what happens. You can blame it on the transient cities. Most big cities have people moving and stuff.
Not as much
Where
as
DC is a little different because it's the political town, and that's what's the big part of the game there for that. But it's really just comes down to they just haven't had consistent winning seasons, and I think that they can still get there. And this area is still very passionate. If the Commanders win 11 games this year, if they win 10 games next year, if they win 9 or more games the year after that, this stadium is cruddy as it can be, will be packed.
You're right.
It will be.
1 billion% agree. Absolutely. And maybe even Katie doesn't know this, but before I came to this area, the first time, which was around 2000, and I was in Texas for 10 plus years.
No.
I was a Texas Rangers fan, a Mavericks fan, I was a Dallas Stars fan, and I was a Cowboys fan. Until I moved to this area, and then these teams grew on me, and I became fans and haven't left that. But
and he's not allowed to leave again because he will leave this fandom for another one.
I probably would. Because you just don't get all of that inside stuff that you would if you that you do when you're here. And when you're not here, you just don't get all that. Especially back in the day when you didn't have the internet and you didn't have Twitter and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You just had newspapers. You just had the local news.
Same, Doug.
You know what I mean? So that's what I always watched. So I was a huge Mavericks fan. Man, Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, Jimmy Jackson, the original Big Three. Oh, I love the Mavericks back then. But not anymore. Now
Sean Bradley.
On the Wiz.
That was my Mavericks back in the day. Sean Bradley.
Roy Tarpley.
Let's bring it back to just straight football. Yeah, Corey, that happened. That is a fact. He left, but we forgive him, right? He left that fandom.
I did. Absolutely.
Okay. He is with us. You see the burgundy and gold.
Man.
And as much as everybody around here hated the Steve Spurrier era, that's what brought me to the team was Steve Spurrier.
Well, you're Florida Gator.
He's a Gator.
And when he came here and he brought in all those Gators, I was like, I'm a fan. And
that did nothing for us.
Throwing all those touchdowns in Japan. Probably Yam was over there watching them way back in 2001, whatever, 2002 maybe. He was throwing. I was like, I'm in, baby. I'm in. I am now a Redskins fan. Oh, look out.
Yeah, looks like we're going to start getting the spam again. Don't worry, we're going to remove those as quickly as we can. There was in the comment section some debate on what wins a championship. Is it offense or defense? What side are you on, Trev?
Defense.
Why is that?
We just saw it this past Super Bowl. Defense wins championships. It's always the motto I live by. Basketball, baseball, football. I do think it's defense. Because
Stoner?
when it comes down to the last possession of the game, you get that stop.
Or you get that score.
Yeah, but all that true. So I think defense.
If you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have said defense. But the leagues have been smart enough to recognize that the fans and the casual fans especially, they love offense. So they've adjusted the rules to allow for more offense, right? And so now, would you rather watch – remember that game last year, that playoff game, Buffalo, Kansas City, when they were just going up and down and up and down and up and down? Was that not a great game? Or would you rather have a game that was 13-3 like that Super Bowl with the Pats and Rams a couple of years ago that everyone was sleeping by halftime because it was so boring.
That's defense.
Oh, it was
baby.
great defense. No, that's not what they want to see. So that's what they've done in basketball too. They've gotten rid of a lot of rules so that the offense is scoring all the time. Now they're scoring 130 points a game, right? So I think offense wins championships now just because of the way the rules are.
All right. Well, you're in there with Yam. We got a lot of votes for defense. Pardon me. Here's there's actually something. I'm going to put my nerd glasses on here real quick because there was some great statistical breakdown when it comes to this. Okay. Offense is what's going to get you to the big game, right? That's going to get you to the championship. There. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. But it's the better defense that's actually going to win you the championship game. You need to have an offense to get there. But your defense has to be the better defense has won the championship over like the last decade plus. But the offenses to get there, you have to have, I think there's only one or two within the last 15 years that have not had a top 10 offense that have made the Super Bowl. So you have to have the offense to get to the dance. But to win the dance, you got to have the defense. That's what
or kickers.
That's typical Nathan. He basically both sides, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
wins championships. I said
you gotta have the defense,
but you gotta have an offense to get there in the first place.
Playing both sides, never take a side.
Never take a side.
I will always be on your two sides, and I'll always be on our chat side. We appreciate it. I want to give a quick shout out, Steve. I didn't shoot him out, shout him out earlier from Command This Podcast.
What up,
Thanks
Steve?
for jumping in the chat here as well. Corey on the warpath. Hit these guys up. These are great guys. Physicality and toughness wins is what Corey's saying. Great guys there. They stream on the regular as well. Make sure that you check them out. Make sure you've liked this video. Subscribe to the channel. We stream live every Wednesday at 7:30 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Keep an eye out. We had Julian yesterday. We talked about Juan Soto yesterday, and tomorrow we have a camp video releasing. So make sure you're on the look for that. And until Monday. All right. Yeah. We're gonna air that Monday. He's burnt out. He's still in mourning. He's not gonna get it there. That's fine. We're gonna keep having great content. We have a Miss Leno coming out.
Oh my gosh. See what you did. Look at this comment by Corey. Look what you did, Stoner, telling that story. Now you get called Cowboy Stoner.
It's gonna stick. It's gonna stick. But we're done here. We're not gonna stick around. We're gonna leave. So until next time.
What?
Be a fan.